Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. It's IndieSN with another commentary for these Go games. I'm super excited to be doing this commentary today because this is a Korean League matchup, round number 7 for the final year of 2021. So this is towards the end of the year, and this was their final round, or one of the final rounds with these two players. So let me just introduce the players right now. It is Cho Wankyu. I could not find your image, Cho. You need to have an image. I couldn't find it. But we do have Cho Wankyu, who is playing as the Blackstones 3-Dan professional versus Lee Changseok. Again, I apologize for mispronouncing your name, who is an 8-Dan professional as of the time of this recording. And this is going to be an amazing matchup because we have seen Lee's games before. I believe it's in the last two-ish videos that I've done. And so we are going to be sticking with studying the Korean style of play when it comes to Weichi or Goban or Ego, whatever three you want to call it, Go in general. And so, this is going to be very interesting because Lee is an extremely strong player, and his playstyle I'm still trying to understand. I really am trying to understand his playstyle. I haven't watched enough of his games, and so hence why we're doing this recording today. And so let's just see what we have going on right now. It looks like we have normal standard starting position with the 3-4-4-4 openings. And let me get my pen out right here. There we go. We do have the standard openings for white, taking both the 3-4 and 4-3 positioning, as well as the Blackstones taking the 3-4 as well as the 4-3 positioning in their respective corners. Now, I know I say 3-4-4-3. That's just the coordinates on each side of the corners. But what we do have going on right now, and I wish they played slower, my goodness, slow down, guys. I'm trying to catch up with the casting here. What we do have is an approach, at least with the bottom right hand corner. We do see that Cho is going to be approaching with a small knight's move, attacking this starting stone right here. And Lee is like, you know what, I'm gonna extend just a little bit. I'm going to do a one space jump protecting my side of the corner right here. And that's the thing about these games, guys. In the beginning, especially on even ground, with no handicap stones, everyone has essentially an even playing field. Nothing too crazy. And as long as you're studying the Joseki just meaning a impassable variation, meaning that it's a very even setup for either players. No player really gets the advantage if they're following the Joseki correctly. And if you're a new player and you're trying to really get into the game of Go, Josekis are the way to pretty much it's pretty much a starting point, is what I'm trying to say. At least for my experience in my case. Me studying the Josekis has really helped even out my playing field and really have improved me by about 5 or 6 ranks, being at a 20Q when I first started. So, or at least I'm assuming it's a 20Q. But what we do have right here is this one space extension with the knight's move approach, or a one space jump approach on the high ground. And so the common Joseki would be if your opponent is approaching on the E4 when you originally played on the C4, you just hit him on the bottom, and most likely he will play right here on the F3. You extend back, and right here pretty much you are solidifying this corner over here. Now for you advanced players, this is already second nature to you guys, and so this is really just for those newer beginner players such as myself, who are DDKs and really am trying to get better at the game. So Joseki, all that means is opening variations where both players pretty much have an even trade. Okay, and what we do see is Lee trying to break through Cho's forces right here. While he's also breaking through, he is going to try to separate this one stone. Now, this one stone will be somewhat of a nuisance if Cho is able to escape, because Lee wants to grab as much territory as he can. But if he doesn't respond to this one stone right here, where cutting off this one stone from the rest of the group, then what's going to happen is that Cho's going to have a massive advantage, especially if Cho is able to play at the B6. Cho's going to have a massive advantage by building a strong wall right here and potentially just going in for the extension. And Lee does not want Cho to grab this whole entire side. And exactly this is what we're seeing right now with Cho. He's trying to build this wall. Lee did do a Hani right here just so that he can start building influence. And you can see Lee is going to try to contain Cho right here. Lee's like, you know what, Cho, you're going to stay on the 5th line. Just stay on the 5th line. I'm going to gain influence in the center because right here, if I was to continue in this little box right here, we have roughly around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points by 5 or 4 points. So this is roughly around 20 points of territory. And because Lee was able to cut off Cho right here, Lee can easily just come in through the bottom right here and reduce towards the middle to mid-end game. And so Lee's like, you know what, Cho, go ahead, try to take it for now. I have a plan. I'm going to build my center because I know I can probably get more than 20 points in the center right here when you're just going to stay right here and most likely you're not going to get the full 20 points. I'm just going to come in, undercut, do an invasion possibly right here by playing on the B11 and going in on the bottom. And we're going to reduce that 20 down to like 8 or 10. Okay. And so that is Lee's answer to this. And now right here, Cho does see that Lee is starting to gain a little bit of influence in the center. So Cho's going to do a cutting position right here, a cutting move, cutting this stone away from the rest of this group. And let me see if I can get my second pen out here. So rest of this group right here. And so Cho's going to just start building this wall. Now, what Cho is doing is he's allowing Lee to push him. Okay. So as Lee is playing stones right here, Cho is just going to keep extending, is pushing from behind, as my teacher Daniel would say. And when your opponent is pushing you from behind, let him. We're going to build a nice strong fortification, a nice strong wall, and be able to do something with this. And you can see that Cho is going to build a nice heavy influence right here. He's preventing Lee from taking that middle positioning. And so Lee has to be careful. This one stone essentially is a dead stone at this point. Especially if Cho is able to play right here to make a nice eye shape. But, you know, Lee is like, you know what? You want the center influence? Be my guest. Take the center influence. I am going to play right here. Now, the main idea of playing right here in the center is to cut off this stone right here. This stone is extremely weak now, especially when Lee has built this strong wall. And this stone actually plays 2 roles. One, it's going to surround this weak stone right here. But 2, it's going to pretty much cut off this group from attaching to this group over here. Now, will this group be able to connect with this group? We have to wait and see. But if Lee decides to play maybe a knight's move away right here, or even right here, these stones pretty much are going to be isolated in that little corner. So let's keep an eye on that right now. Right now, what we do see is Cho is approaching, capping Lee's potential influence to go towards the center, which is fine. And you can see that Cho is going to do a 1 space extension going in for the border surround. So pretty much Cho's goal right now is to contain Lee on the corner, on the side, right here. And Lee is like, you know what? You're going to contain me? Fine. You can contain me. I'm going to kill this 1 stone now. So you can have the center. I'll give you the center. You can have this territory potentially. But if you really are greedy for the center, I'm just going to take my territory back. I'm just going to gain these territories. And I know that once I gain this massive amount of territory, this is going to be way more than this teeny little bitty middle influence. And you guys know that as you guys are going towards the middle, it's going to be much, much harder to contain. And so Cho does see that if Lee does manage to get all of this, and if Cho is able to trade this amount of territory right here for the middle, it's not enough. It really isn't enough, and Cho has to solidify this territory right here. And the only way to do that is by capping on this position right here, preventing Lee from going out into here, reducing his territory later on. And so what I would love to see Lee do is potentially go for an extension right here, capping Cho's top right hand corner from extending outwards and gaining this massive amount of territory over here. That would be really nice to see, but we do see Lee trying to gain some momentum in the center, potentially reconnecting with this one stone right here. We can see that he's trying to go to this area, and I don't know, but we do see Cho trying to move much faster in the center. Cho's like, you know what, Lee, if you're going to go slow, go one stone at a time, connecting your forces, try to make it strong, I'm going to do the surrounding. I'm going to do a 2-space extension, potentially try to loosely connect my 3 groups right here, and there's nothing you really can do about it. And so Lee is like, you know what, fine, I'm just going to push out, you're going to cap, and I'm going to double honey right here, potentially. This is good. Double honey. It's a great cutting point. It does pose a lot of threat to these 2 stones right here, but it also allows Lee to connect these 2 groups together. And so now you guys can see the reducing has started. Lee is going to try to contain this group right here into this corner while reducing the center now. And the center is super, super, super hard to contain, especially if you don't have a good enough reinforcement. And Lee's like, you know what, go ahead, I'm gonna have Sente, I'm gonna go right here into the middle and potentially cut your reinforcements off. And so this is a really nice maneuverability on Lee's case. I mean, Cho has a nice fortification. He has a nice influence in the center, but Lee is doing a great job keeping Sente. And all Sente, for you beginners out there, all Sente means is keeping the pressure on. Every move that Lee makes is a move that could be critical if Cho doesn't respond. And this is the key that I'm finding with a lot of pro games, is that you want to have those types of moves where if your opponent doesn't respond to your specific move, you can come in and really critically damage them. So it is a forcing move. It's a move that really, really does pose a lot of threat to the opposing player. And if you're able to save up those moves or see and find those moves, you guys are going to rank up really, really fast. And so, I mean, for me, I'm still trying to develop my skill, but I am finding that it does help me with some of the Sumego issues that I find while playing a live match. And so what we do see right here is that Cho is going to try to save his center group right here. Now the Cho's group is in danger of getting captured, and so he's going to try to do everything he can to kind of widen out his bottom base. And by bottom base, I mean the bottom foundation of this group right here. Now this group, it doesn't have any living shape yet. He needs to go down and start, you know, outlining his borders right here so that when he plays in the center, he can form 2 eyes. And as you guys know, with 2 eyes, this is a recipe for infinite life, or with it's a recipe for to live essentially in the game of Go. And we can see that Lee is doing everything he can to pretty much reduce, and this Ko right here is going to be a very nice Ko later on. And most likely, Cho is going to respond either by capping on the top or playing on the bottom right here for a Ko shape. No, he doesn't. He doesn't feel that the Ko is going to be necessary right now. Lee's most likely going to cap or is going to go in, maybe? Nope. Lee's not going to do any of that. He sees something that I do not, and that is fine because we are learning here. But we do see is Lee's like, you know what? If you're going to try to escape, I'm going to try to disconnect your group right here from this group. And what Lee is doing is a tactic of divide and conquer. That is probably one of the oldest proverbs in any military strategy, military battle, is to divide the enemy and conquer them up, or conquer them. Divide and conquer. I know there's multiple meanings. You can either divide your forces and conquer by doing a surround, or you yourself divide the enemy's forces and then conquer them. And so this is exactly what we're trying to see, or what we are seeing right here. And Cho does have to be careful. He only has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties left, which is going to be a very, very scary thing. Now he has 1 eye. You guys can see right here that his units are encompassing this open square right here. So that is 1 eye. Now all Cho has to do is form his 2nd eye. And if he can form the 2nd eye for this group right here, this group is alive. But if he can't, then Lee has just captured maybe 20 points right here alone. Okay. And so right now, Lee is trying to build shape. He is going to try to do an extension. He's going to try to reduce the center while forming some enclosures or enclosed areas to potentially form some eye shape right here. And there's multiple ways that he can form eye shape. And so I don't know. Oh, we'll see. But this area right here does look like it has enough to build eye shape. And now he's going to do this zigzag pattern right here, preventing the enemy from capturing from within. And so this is a great play. I like it. Cho is going to go in for the extension, trying to contain this group right here. And I would love to see Lee play either here or do another extension outwards. But what Lee's going to do is like, you know what, Cho, if you're going to approach me, I'm just going to attach to you and you're going to die. You're going to die because I'm going to go undercut you and I'm going to invade in the bottom right here. With the standing position right here, I don't think Lee's going to do a one space extension. He might. Oh, he does. He does do a one space extension right here, one space jump, which is, you know, a self-peeping, but it is a move that helps cut up these groups from these groups. And like I said earlier in this match, that I would love to see Lee play somewhere around here, the Knights move away, to cut this group from reinforcing this group right here. So great tactic, great strategy. Cho does have to be careful. These 3 stones might get cut off very, very soon, especially if Lee comes in, cuts this off. Cho's going to cap right here, and then Lee's going to do a cutting move right here. And this is that shoulder hit that threatens to separate these 2 groups from each other. Okay. And so Cho does have to pay attention to that, because if he doesn't, oh no, you're going to get stuck. And so Cho then immediately fills in, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lee plays right here or right here to cut off this group from the northern group. Okay. But what Lee does have to pay attention to is the eye shapes down here. There is no living shape just yet. So what he's going to do is he's going to try to create some eye shape. And so he's going to extend down because these 3 stones are in danger right now. He's going to possibly extend downwards and try to kill these 3 stones right here. These 3 stones are a nuisance right now to Lee's bottom base right here. And I don't know how Cho's going to respond. I mean, these stones are getting surrounded fairly easily. Lee's most likely going to play on the L1 position doing a tiger spot. Nope, just connect. Never mind. He's just going to connect straight away, preventing any shenanigans from the capturing of the M2 stone. And so what we do see is now the co-battle starting. And Lee has to respond to this. If Lee allows Cho to pretty much take over this whole entire area, it's not going to be a good thing. And so Lee is doing everything he can with the Ko right now to stop Cho from winning. And Cho's like, you know what? You can win this Ko. I already have 2 potentially eye shapes, and what I'm going to do is an extension. And so Lee is like, you know what? You do an extension. I'm going to do a reduction. I'm going to come in right here, do a clamping move next turn, and reduce this whole territory right here. You can take this extension. If you take this extension, I'm going to clamp. Okay. And Cho's like, you know what? I'm not going to let you clamp me. I'm not going to let you extend into my territory. And so we're going to play some end game right now. I'm going to play on the B8 positioning right here because I don't want you to pretty much take all this territory away from me. And so now Cho has pretty much gave up Sente for Lee. Now Lee has the positioning to pretty much go around the map and put a lot of pressure. And that's exactly what he does. He is now going to extend one space right here, really just cutting off this group from this group. I mean, that's essentially what he's doing. He's just trying to disconnect all of these groups right here, all around. And potentially, you know, I do see some moves standing out right here. For some reason, I'm seeing those move. And he's going to go straight into for a 3-3 invasion. He's doing a 3-3 invasion, knowing that he's already surrounded. But if you, like I said, if you're following Joseki patterning, this should not be an issue. And so what's going to happen is that Lee's going to go in. He's going to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to heavily concentrate you in here. I'm going to try to ruin your shape because shape is important, guys. So this is what I'm finding, at least while I'm still playing. I'm still a DDK, but while I'm still playing, shape is everything. Bad shape means no eyes. Good shape means a potential for an eye. And for a living group to stay alive, it needs to have a total of 2 eyes. If you're blinded throughout the game with no eyes, I'm sorry, but the opponent's going to capture you. And so that is a big, big, big concept, at least for the game of Go. And I am just finding that out, at least in my playstyle. And so right here, Cho is going to come in for the cutting point right here of these two groups. And Lee's like, you know what? You do that. I'm going to Atari you. I'm going to come through right here, cutting these two groups from each other because I can. And the ladder will not work for Lee, unfortunately, if he does decide to cap and do a ladder positioning, because this will be in a self-Atari. But Cho does have to watch out because there is another cutting position right here threatening that stone later on. So he does have to pay attention to that. And what we do see is Lee is just hounding at Cho right now, continuously trying to build his shape, build a lot of eye shape right here. Cho is doing a good job putting pressure on Lee's stone. And now Cho is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to try to build a base right here. I'm going to try to build some living shape right here, reducing your potential right here, and potentially saving my one stone. Oh, wow. He's going to try to save this one stone by connecting this group with this group. Oh. This stone needs to be saved. And, this is a very dangerous position because you don't want to get Hane at 2 stones. You need to extend out 1 more, I believe. Or you Hane himself, and then let's see what happens. But, what we do see right here is pretty much a defense mechanism. Pretty much Lee's probably, in my opinion, Lee might go in for the threat of a cut right here. There's a lot of cutting points and potentially just cut these two groups from each other. Okay, so there is a lot of disconnecting positioning right here. Cho does see that threat coming, and so Cho decides to be 1 step ahead and potentially just curve in right here. And Lee is like, you know what? Nope, you're not going to do that. I see that if I let you go, you might, curve inwards right here and reduce my whole eye shape right here, which I need to keep alive right now. And Cho is like, you know what? If you're going to extend right here, then I'm just going to extend right here. And now I have this beautiful, beautiful amount of territory in this corner. And Lee's like, you know what? Have that territory. I saved my shape. I have good shape right here. I have a living corner right here, potentially. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce your corner over here. And like I said, that cutting position forcing Cho to respond with an extension is going to play a massive, massive role. And here's another cutting point right here. Most likely, Lee's going to play right here and do a threat of the 2 stones right here, Atari of the 2 stones for this 1 stone. And exactly that is what he's doing. He's not going to go right into the cutting point just yet. He's going to do a peeping positioning, peeping at this 1 stone, threatening to capture, and most likely he's going to capture because this 1 stone right at least is much closer to connecting these 2 groups together. And that is essentially why Lee is looking for that positioning. And most likely Cho is going to capture. I don't see... Whoa, Cho does not capture. I don't necessarily agree with that. Well, I mean, this stone is already dead. Doesn't have to waste a move, probably. And so what Cho is going to try to do is reducing Lee's corner right now. A lot of this game is just reduction at this point. We do see weak stones getting stronger. He is trying to reinforce, and you can see this stone is causing a lot of damage. But, I mean, Lee can easily just cut the stone right here, putting this at an Atari, forcing Cho to extend, which is what he's going to do, I believe. He's going to extend, yes, and Lee's probably going to connect or extend upwards right here, or put this stone right here in Atari. And I believe putting that stone in Atari is probably the better way to go right now. Yep, he puts the stone in Atari, because if he doesn't put the stone in Atari, what's going to happen is that Cho's going to play here next turn, putting a lot of pressure on this R2 stone. And we don't want that. At least we don't want to give black any reason to live in this corner. So prevent the threat overall by just capturing this stone if the threat does occur. And we do see that Cho is having a lot of zigzag. I don't like this zigzag too much. The zigzag, in my opinion, with what I'm playing, it just does, it never works. It's too many cutting points for me. And so what Cho is going to try to do is he's going to try to reduce the possibility of this group connecting with this group. And so he is putting a lot of pressure on Lee by playing on the second line. Now, these two have to be careful. And Lee does have to be careful as well, because any misstep right here is going to prove to be a little fatal. So I don't know. Maybe next turn Cho might throw in, forcing Lee to capture, and then potentially opening up this spot. It would not surprise me if that happens. And now what's happening is that Cho is going to seal up those cutting points, and those cutting points is the cutting points that is going to cause a lot of mayhem. And you can see Lee is already taking advantage of those cutting points. He's going to probably extend downwards right here, possibly cap right here or cut right here, and really do a lot of damage. And so a lot of these moves are Sente moves, and Cho's most likely going to go downwards. I don't see why Cho wouldn't respond to that extension exactly. And so what Lee is doing is he's pretty much forcing Cho to play within his territory. He knows that these two stones are most likely going to die off, which is fine. You know, playing 2 stones for 2 stones, not a bad thing, because, you know, 2 stones, yes, I'm sacrificing 2 stones, but that requires you to play 2 more moves inside your territory. And these are territorial points. What does that mean? That means that these moves are pretty much a throwaway point, but forcing Cho to respond by placing more than needed stones to capture. Okay. So yes, if Cho does capture this, he gains 4 points, but this was already his points to begin with. So essentially, what Lee is doing is he's pretty much evening out the game by forcing Cho to play 4 more stones to capture his 2 stones right here. Okay. And now there is this cutting position. I'm not liking this cutting position whatsoever. I don't know. No, that's safe. I think if Lee plays right here, Cho just extends out. Lee goes right here, and Cho goes right here, and Lee goes right here, and then Cho and Lee caps. Yeah, that this cutting position is fairly safe. And now we do see this Ko playing a huge role right here. And like I said, if when did this happen? Did this happen already? What? What? And so what we do see is this Ko is going to play a huge role. And whoever wins this Ko essentially wins the board, I believe. I'm looking at the map right now, and I'm seeing let's just count Lee's positioning right here. Lee has this group. Lee potentially has this already. Lee has this. Okay. Lee definitely has this side right here, and this is still up in air. We don't know who's going to win this right now. There's a lot of back and forth banter right now, but let's see. Here's Cho's positioning right there. Here is Cho's positioning right here. This right here is still in a question mark, and Cho is potentially going to have this little bit. So as of right now, and Cho, yeah, as of right now, I think Lee is ahead. So Cho has to win this Ko battle right here. He has to win this Ko battle to gain this whole territory. And if he gains this whole territory, I believe he will win the match. But Lee's really not letting him do that right now. There is a death shape right here if Lee's able to play right here, killing out the potential I formation of these two and putting a lot of threat on that shape. And so what Lee is doing, and the thing about Ko's is that it allows the opposing player to play 2 essential moves in a row. Just because if you do lose this battle, this Ko battle, you pretty much lose the whole entire map, the whole entire game. And so it forces the opposing player to recapture while he's spending a lot of time recapturing, then the other player can come in and start destroying the fortification. And so what we do see right here is just that. So now that Cho has taken Lee's initial position, Lee has to find another co-threat. And here's the other co-threat. If Cho does not respond, and if Cho seals off this co-threat right here and is allowed to form two eyes, then what's going to happen is that Lee's just going to come in right here, destroying Cho's wall right here, because these two stones will get captured, and then Lee has every potential to come in here and invade this area. And this is not what Cho wants right now. And so for a new player, this is essential. Let me erase this really quick. To survive in this lower right hand corner. And so right now, Cho's doing everything they can to pretty much put a lot of pressure in Lee's weak spread out group. Yes, it's strong if Lee's able to fortify it, move after move, turn after turn. But if once you have a Ko involved right here, it's really hard just to keep that defended, because all your attention is going into that battle. And you know, Cho's like, you know what, I'm gonna just do that. And so right here, Lee is pretty much forcing Cho. If Cho wants to take this Ko right here, go ahead, take it. But if you take it, I'm going to break through and I'm going to wreck you right here in the center. And so this is the beautiful thing about Kos. And Kos are such a great advantage tool if and only if you have enough Ko threats to push your opponent in. And so, I mean, this right here, if you were to gather this whole territory, I mean, look at this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's essentially 20 points minimum that you would win. And for Lee, if he was to win the Ko, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, that's 26 points minimum. Okay, minimum 26 points that he would win for this Ko battle. And so the question is, does the opposing player have enough Ko threats where giving up this 20 to 26 points is enough for the rest of the map? Is there enough to trade? And if there isn't, forget about it. And right here, this right here alone, if Lee is able to win the corner, this alone is going to give him 20 something points. So yeah, I might get 20 points, you might get 26, fine. But I have 6.5 Komi, so why not? And so right now we're just seeing battle after battle. This is intense. It's not like my last commentary where there's like 5 different Ko battles. This is one Ko battle, spread it out throughout the whole time, and it is an amazing tool. And so right now, Cho is really forcing Lee right here, and Cho's gonna retake the Ko right now. Oh man, Cho, you're gonna retake the Ko, and Lee is gonna have to find another move. Now, where is the other move for Lee, though? Did Lee run out of threats? Yeah, Lee ran out of threats. Lee has no more. So essentially, Cho can just take this piece right here. And now Cho is alive. And now this group right here, this group, Lee has to find a way to save this group. If Lee cannot save that group, this whole group falls. And Lee is like, you know what? I'm going to try to save it. I think I can save it. But Cho can play right here. For the time being, Cho can play right here. But I don't think that's fast enough, because if Cho plays right here, then Lee's just going to try to surround right here in those 3 positioning. And I don't think Cho can win the Liberty race, because Cho plays here, Lee plays here. Cho cannot play here just yet. Cho actually has to extend backwards. Just because if Cho plays here, then Lee just captures on the N1, capturing those 2 stones. So Cho has to play here, Lee plays here, and then what's Cho going to do? Cho can't do anything. Yeah, Cho's not going to win the Liberty race right here. So this group is essentially dead. And so Lee essentially came out victorious in the Ko battle. Yes, Lee gave up 2 points. 2 points. But now Lee is able to just wreak havoc, and this is exactly what Lee did. Lee just did approach. And now you're stuck with a 4-space wall, or 4-stone wall, which is easily conquerable. And I think that's it. That is game. Cho just resigned. So Cho resigned just because he knows that he can't seal Lee. If Lee comes in, if Lee's able to win this, Lee just has to extend back. Now what's Cho gonna do? This right here is not a living shape. Especially with this one stone coming in right here. Maybe if Cho plays right here, you know, Lee can just extend. You know, it is such a hard positioning to defend. And that is game, set, and match. Cho has resigned. Lee was victorious in this round. And I believe Lee won. Let me see. What's the estimated score for this match? The estimated score is Lee has won by 8 points. 8 points. 8 full points. And that is game. So, wow. What did I learn in this match from watching them? Sente, shape, disconnect, and codes. Make sure you have a lot of code threats. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this recording. I feel like my commentary is getting better. I'm really studying. I'm studying. I'm watching so many videos. I'm taking lessons right now, and I believe my commentary is getting a lot more sound, a lot more refined. Especially since the first time I've commentated. I can't wait to do a review video about that. Thanks, Daniel, for that suggestion. I may actually do that very, very soon once I hit SDK route. But yes, then again, guys, please let me know what you guys found in this match. What was the move that stood out to you guys? And leave a like, comment, or subscribe if you do enjoy this content, so that gives me some indication to make some more. And so hopefully you guys have a wonderful week, have a wonderful weekend, depending on when you guys are watching this. And I'll see you guys in the next Go video. Catch you later.